Today on the table I brought you a SIG 226 trade-in model. Now I say trade-in because this isn't a new production. This was in government use, they traded it in. It's actually got quite a bit of wear on it. Nothing that's gonna affect its mechanics. It actually looks kind of cool. Now if you're considering purchasing one of these firearms, honestly I totally recommend it. They're slightly above what I'd call a budget firearm, but this is in a totally different, well I shouldn't say different ballpark. Like say for example you purchased a Taurus TH9C. This is about $100 more. This is in the concession stand serving peanuts. This is on home plate hitting balls out of the park. Like, far more quality, far better firearm, superior in every single way, except for weight, of course. Now, when I purchased this firearm, it came with 3 different magazines of varying quality. They're all made by Mekgar. I believe this one's the oldest because it's got the stamp on there, not basically for civilian use, because this firearm was made in 2000. And that was when we had a magazine ban still. None of them have steel slide lock. What would you even call that? It's basically a little metal plate to reinforce the plastic so when it pushes the slide lock up, it doesn't wear out. The oldest one, it's way down below the groove, so you're probably going to have issues with the slide staying open on your last round hold open with this particular magazine. The other ones still seem to be okay. This one is without a doubt in the worst condition. The weld inside just looks horrible. The finish on it's terrible. It's even got some surface rust on it. Even though these magazines are probably the original ones and are much older, no surface rust, still in way better condition. The weld going through them is complete. It's nicely done. So just because they all come from the same place doesn't mean they're all the same quality. Without a doubt, if you can get the old parked ones or the original parked ones, because I think even the newer SIGs come with parkerized magazines that are in better quality than the aftermarket Mekgar ones that just, they don't really quite get the same quality as this one. They're similar, they'll probably work fine, but definitely something to be considered. Trigger brake. Single action. Beautiful. Absolutely no movement in the front sight. This single action brake actually brakes even better than a lot of the dedicated single actions I've had in here lately. Now, it's very possible it brakes that nice because, you know, this is heavily worn. All the components are worn nicely. And it's very possible some of those single actions I've had in here that I'm comparing this to would eventually brake just as good, if not better than this. But as of right now, this is one of the best, you know, semi-automatic triggers I've pulled in single action mode. Double action. Very clean as well. I am getting a little bit of movement that's not due to how the trigger breaks, it's just because of the weight required on this. Because this firearm doesn't have a safety, your double action has a really heavy pull. You couldn't accidentally pull this. Like, you couldn't get your chapstick wedged in there or a piece of your clothing and pull this. You would know it's being pulled because of the length it has to travel and how heavy it is. Which is one of the reasons I prefer a double action over like a striker fire gun, because in order to get anywhere near to an acceptable trigger on a striker fire gun, you have to lighten it up. And then you could have negligent discharge. Your shirt or something could get hooked on there while you're holstering it, setting off the firearm. Plus, when you're holstering it, if you really want to worry about it, you can put your thumb on the hammer and holster it. And then if it's being pulled, you'll know. There's no way you could accidentally set this off. That would be very deliberate. Reset. Nice and short. Right at your reset, then you get a little bit of free play. There's like no weight at all in the free play. Come to a nice firm wall. Some creep, very little, and then a very clean break. Making multiple shots with this, because of how nice the trigger is, you're going to be very accurate. Just to bring it into comparison, put everything in perspective, let's take a look at a striker fire trigger brake. This is a shield. I'd call it like middle of the road brake. There's definitely worse out there, but it's definitely not the best. See how the front sight fishtails? Yeah, that's not really going to affect your accuracy in like self-defense situations, but if you were to try to range out or, you know, make sure to get it in the kill zone, that T on the face, you're going to suffer. And then you got the reset, which is terrible. See how long it is? It's all mushy. Without a doubt, say a time situation like you're running against a shot clock or something, the accuracy you'll be able to achieve with a 226 over the shield is going to be a night and day difference. And then there's one other advantage that a DASA has over striker fire. Dead trigger. I can keep pulling this as many times as I want after the first trigger pull. This is not second strike capable. Because this is second strike capable, yes, sometimes ammunition, for whatever reason, doesn't set off. Like primer strike, maybe the charge got contaminated. Usually, in an example where the round doesn't set off, if I were to hit it again, that's typically enough to set that round off. You don't get that option with the shield. If for whatever reason the round doesn't go off, you have no choice but to clear that round out and try again. The shield, you have, or the 226, you have a backup option. You can pull the trigger again and see if you can set off the round. Now, if you purchase this, you can get it in a couple of different ways. You can purchase this under the idea, you know, hey, this is a collector's item. It's old. Someday it's probably going to be very valuable. Keep it in original condition and just shoot it once in a while. Or, I mean, I definitely am leaning towards the collector side of it myself, because just the wear on it, the fact that this was a government pistol, is just awesome. Or you can modify it. You can get aftermarket grips. Now, because this particular model is chambered in 40, that you can put in the 357 barrel, the SIG 357. It'll also fit in the magazines just fine. And that would be pretty awesome. I mean, the night sights have given up the ghost. They're only got, what, like a 7-year half-life. They don't work at all anymore. So if you're going to modify it, you know, put on newer night sights, get those working again. Possibly throw on the SIG 357 barrel. And this would be a bad little gun. Totally usable. There's nothing inside that screams, hey, I'm wore out and I'm not going to work anymore. Like the rails, they do have some wear on the top and that, but everything still seems pretty good. Now, the German models are supposed to have a 2-piece slide that's welded together, and this is supposed to be folded over steel. This is a completely milled one. This is a German frame, but I do not believe the slide is a German slide. I believe this was manufactured in the US. I could be wrong on that. I'm not really up on all the SIG history. So would I purchase this firearm? Oh yeah, without a doubt. The price these are coming in at, I mean, you're looking at $50 more than a shield, and a shield is considered a budget pistol. Would I ever carry this? Not unless I really want to shine someone on. I mean, like, yeah, I carry a SIG P226. Like, that would be the only way. Other than that, that's totally unpractical for carrying, at least for me. These do have the metal frame. Ergonomics are actually pretty good. Slide release, right where it needs to be. Decocker, right where it needs to be. Beautiful trigger pull. I don't know if it's because I've only been really dealing with new manufactured firearms lately, so my expectations of what a trigger pull should be has been reduced because none of those are broken in. But this is amazing. Single action and double action. Just breaks awesome. And this is a double single, which is my favorite style of firearm. So, if you were to just draw this, there's no safety on it, nothing's stopping you, you can just pull the trigger. Or say for whatever reason you anticipate a longer shot, or you know you want to make a longer shot or a more precise shot, say you want to get that off switch, cock the hammer beforehand, make a very clean shot. Now, normally I would never recommend buying a 40 or even SIG 357 just because those rounds aren't as popular as, say, 9mm. There's nothing wrong with the rounds. Nothing at all. They're perfectly capable rounds. But because of their reduced popularity, that takes away on how much you can shoot the pistol. Even a little bit. Like, say, a box is only $1 more. That's 100 rounds. So you're looking at $100 more for 1,000 rounds. And that multiplies on top of itself, and it will, in fact, reduce the amount you can shoot the pistol, making it more expensive to shoot the pistol, making it less likely for you to shoot the pistol, and even if you do shoot the pistol and spend the same amount of money, you'll be better with a 9mm just because you get to shoot it more. Because of the price this comes in at, and how I would treat it more like a collector's item, for me at least, I mean, you could totally modify this and change it up, and like I said, change the caliber, put on different grips, whatever. Because I consider it more of a collector's item, yeah, it's combat effective. It would totally do anything you would ever ask from this. Because for me, it would be a collector's item. I don't really care about the caliber. It's not that big of a deal. I would buy it because of what it is. It's a highly worn... I shouldn't say that because there's nothing ready to fail yet, but I'm saying like the wear on it, just the awesomeness. It's kind of like the trench gun I have. Like, I like that, even though it's because it's unpractical. I really like it just because of... It's like a slice of history carved out that you get to hang on to. This is literally the 2000s. I like to say 2001, but 2000s. That's what the best pistol on the market was, or I feel anyway. Carved out in its exact condition, preserved just for you. You can hang on to this and be like, this was the 2000s. This is what was top of the line. This is what we were using. So that's why it's awesome to me. So really the caliber doesn't matter. Again, like I said, you could upgrade the crap out of this and bring this right back into life. Change out the sights. Change this to 357 if you want to. Put on different grips. Change everything up. Make it good to go. Now they do have a model with a rail on it. Personally, I mean, just how this whole thing looks, I think it looks better without the rail. That's why I ordered this one. Plus it was drastically cheaper. So yeah, if you are thinking about purchasing one of those, I strongly recommend you go ahead and do it. If you'd like to check out any of my other videos, click on the cards. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.